Talking Allergies is a podcast focused on raising allergy awareness, sharing allergy stories, increasing allergy health and well-being, connecting the Australian allergy community with those that support them, and more. In each episode, we look at different aspects of living with allergies, with special guests joining us to talk about all things allergies.
Hi Anthony, and welcome to the Talking Allergies podcast. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anthony, could you talk a little bit about yourself and the allergies you have?
I'm Anthony. I am a now uni student that resides in New South Wales. I had a lot of different allergies growing up. I used to be anaphylactic to dairy, peanut, eggs, and wheat, as well as being an asthmatic and having eczema. Over time, I've managed to do lots and lots of things, but overall they helped get rid of mostly my egg and wheat anaphylaxis, and my asthma and eczema are also much more downplayed compared to what they were when I was younger.
When did allergies first come into your life?
So they've been in my life for as long as I can remember. Reports from my parents say that they only started noticing things happening when I was about 2 or 3 months old, when I started reacting very, very aggressively towards the milk that I was drinking as a baby. They didn't really know what was going on. They thought I was being a bit picky with my food, which is, as you do, what a lot of babies end up doing with their food. But they got concerned once I started breaking out with hives and a lot of that kind of thing.
So from a very young age then?
Yeah, I don't have any memory of any life beforehand.
With your journey through school, would you say that your journey has been any different to your peers?
I think that varies depending on what kind of age that I would think. So in preschool, I recall, I don't think I really understood what was going on very much, as most preschoolers do. So I wasn't doing anything personally to address my allergies or any of the concerns related to them. And so that ended up leading to me getting into allergic reactions quite a lot during that time. Not to say that the preschool, the daycare workers were like doing anything incorrectly. I think I was a bit reckless, and two, they might have let a couple things slip, which isn't a good thing for a kid, but with so many different kinds of people in that establishment, it's hard to keep track of it all. And so in that case, I'd say I wasn't doing that much differently from my peers at that time. Moving on into primary school, I appreciate a lot what my parents and what the people around me did for me as a kid, because one of the things that I had to be very careful when touching different surfaces. So I always carried around baby wipes, hand sanitizer, just to make sure that none of these surfaces had any of the allergens that I was allergic to. And I had to get my food separately, because what they did was they had all the lunch boxes in one place. I always put mine separately in a different location. But my teachers were very adamant on making all of the kids wash their hands together alongside me, so all of this stuff in the classroom was clean. And so in that case, having that sense of like community and companionship really helped me to not really not care, but to assimilate me more into a regular kind of lifestyle. And then moving it into high school, I was able to become a lot more independent, to take care of what kind of foods that I was consuming. I could check the ingredients by myself, obviously. And in that case, it made it a lot easier to manage. And I don't really feel I am that different from any of the people that I'm around. Just every time I go to a restaurant, I have to double check.
100%. Always double checking your restaurants is a really important point.
Yeah, that's probably the one main factor, I think, because it feels a little bit awkward sometimes to like ask the worker for something very specific and to be pretty adamant when something goes wrong, because at least for me as a person, that's not something I like doing very much. But it's something that I think I had to get used to, and it's necessary to get used to, because it's really a life or death kind of thing, at least in my case, for anaphylaxis. But like for other allergies as well, it would cause significant more harm than is worth just simply asking another question or asking for the food to be well prepared.
With advocating for yourself or bringing it up in general, do you have any tips or anything that you've done?
Personally, for myself, I when I meet new people, I actually don't bring it up directly until it is necessary. I think that helps it lead more effectively into conversation. And in my opinion, most people in the modern day are very accustomed and very used to having different people with different allergies and different dietary requirements. So all in all, they're not too concerned about it. They'll just be more on the lookout when you go to food venues. I just bring it up casually, just ask, oh yeah, by the way, can't eat dairy peanuts. That's nothing, maybe would like them, don't know. I think if you do it more casually, people are more likely to be accepting of it. Though there hasn't really been a case where they haven't, because I think people are just kinder than what you'd expect in your head.
It's good that you haven't had any bad reactions to you bringing up your allergies.
Yes, I am very fortunate in that case.
In school, were there any difficult parts to manage, say on camp or food tech?
That was interesting. Bringing up food tech first, because it is, I think, mandatory, at least in my state, because as far as I'm aware, most of the students that I knew had to do a food tech course. So I only did it for a term, and in that term, they tried their best, they really did, but I ended up making 2 dishes that term. I recall very clearly a fruit salad design competition where there was not very much cooking, there was just putting food to look like various shapes, and sweet potato fries, because the only 2 ingredients were sweet potato and oil. And they really didn't want to risk anything happening in the kitchen, which is entirely fair enough from the school body. And it would be so much more pressure and so much more difficult for them to organize food for me to bring, or to get me to bring food, because what if I brought something that they can't use, and that kind of thing. So, and as well as the fact that our practical components weren't assessed, they were like, oh, just better sit this one out. So in that case, I ended up doing a lot of theory for that food tech course, but to be honest, I didn't mind too much. And it's foods I wouldn't have been able to eat anyway, so it wasn't something that I was looking forward to too much anyway. In terms of camps were very interesting, but all in all, I had a very good experience in terms of camp food, because I'm not sure, but my school camps, they had specific food and menus and separate serving areas, usually for people with dietary requirements. So that includes people who have allergies, includes vegetarians, people who can only eat halal food. So it was really streamlined in that sense. So I really didn't have any issues as long as I double checked all the food by myself as well. There was like one incidence of it, because I like doing a lot of extracurriculars. I'm a big fan of saxophone, but the way our extracurriculars are structured is that we have to eat at the music building. So they deliver food up from wherever the food was, because we had like on school food up to the music building, and then we had whatever food that we wanted. I also did a science project where I had to spend some lunches doing some science, and they also delivered food up. Problem is, one of the days they had labeled one of the foods, dairy-free, and clearly it wasn't, because 3 hours later I was in a hospital bed. So something must have gone wrong in the delivery from the music to the science back to the dining room, or someone must have mislabeled something. And all in all, that being the single only experience where any of the schools that I've ever been to has messed up has been quite fortunate, I think. I've heard many, many horror stories of other places. And in that case, I'm sure it was just like a once-off issue, and they really tightened their regulation afterwards. So, to be honest, I wouldn't call that difficult. I just call that interesting experience, to say the least.
Definitely difficult when it is labelled that it is for your allergy, and then you end up in a hospital a few hours later.
To be honest, I didn't even realize it for a bit. But my friend was like, your face has grown to twice the size. That is not a normal reaction for you to have to food poisoning. And I was like, yeah, maybe you're right.
Having friends around is really important to say, hey, is this an allergic reaction?
Yeah, definitely. Especially since I think, yeah, one of my friends did first aid training in medics, so he was pretty on top of things. To be honest, that was the only time I've ever had an allergic reaction in front of my friends ever. Every single other time has been in a controlled environment with an immunologist at a hospital.
Really glad that your friends were there.
Yes, I am too.
With the camp that you went on, is there anything good that the camp counsellors did or that you did to prepare for camp that others could learn from?
I think best thing to do is just don't take snacks from other people. And I'm sure some camps allow like you to bring snacks. Just bring your own. Just eat that if you want extra food. Usually the diet, I think almost 100% of the time, if a camp has organized a dietary section or a place for dietary requirements, they will be pretty good on handling the food and that kind of thing. Just be sure to double check. I think the camp counselors are very well suited for this kind of thing.
So Anthony, you're now studying medicine, which is fantastic. What made you want to go into medicine?
I think it's probably pretty clear. At least from the very first thing that would have triggered me, I think, was just having allergies and wanting to make a difference in that space. Especially since my pediatric immunologist was like so good and always made sure to not only like treat me well, but comfort me and make sure I was doing okay mentally while I was doing all this desensitization stuff. And so being able to do that kind of thing for other people was something that I always wanted to do. And I think it helped that when my parents found out about this, they gave me a bunch of like little anatomy books for kids, and that kind of just spurred it on until where I am now, I suppose.
That's so lovely to hear that you not only had a great experience with your pediatric allergist, but also that your parents encouraged the knowledge too.
I think it helps that the goal was already like, oh, he wants to be a doctor. At least in the wow, don't have to worry about that one.
It's very nice. With your pediatric allergist, what made the bedside manner really good with you?
I think he was just always very cognizant that I was a kid that didn't really want to speak too much and didn't want to, like, that was very scared of all the needles and scared of all the things I was doing, and made sure to explain everything quite clearly. So I always understood what was going on, even when I was like 4 or 5, which just helped to make sure that I was going through all of these procedures, no matter how scary they are. Because I know a lot of kids don't end up going through these things and they just end up bearing with all of the allergies. But being able to get rid of egg and wheat has been so life-changing compared to like the little desensitization things I did for them.
Do you have any tips for anyone that's going to do desensitization?
Well, there are a lot of different treatments I tried, desensitization probably being the main one. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit odd in this case. But for me, as long as the doctor was there, I was pretty much fine doing anything. Because I know that as long as they're there, they won't let anything wrong happen. They have tried this probably hundreds, thousands of times. They've done it, and if something had gone wrong, I probably wouldn't be seeing this doctor, to be honest. That gave me just a lot of reassurance that even though I am consuming the thing that everyone is telling me, oh, you shouldn't do that, they're there to help you, and I'm right next to a hospital as well. Did
you have any special outfits or food or any treats that you would do for those days? I
think for the most part, I just like went to Macca's afterwards, when I could eat Macca's.
It's really nice to hear that you were comfortable with the allergist, even though you had had anaphylactic reactions there too.
I understand for a lot of people that kind of experience would be very scary and very traumatizing. But I think I just didn't clock it. Maybe it's because I was doing it from when I was so young, that to the point where wow, this is just a thing I do. Because I think I was doing these desensitization things since I was like 2 or 3. And they tried to get rid of my worst ones first, as you do. And so obviously they went wrong pretty quickly. So I'd already been through the worst of it. There wasn't really much you could throw at me that would scare me any longer.
Through going through that process and having some of your allergies now, how do you feel about the process and having allergies?
I think the process is always worth it because for the most part, usually it involves just like, I'll eat this little tiny bit of food once a day. And so it's not that strenuous unless something goes wrong. And so I'd always say it's worth it because it's just always something you're doing in the back burner, just always having a little bit. And then if it doesn't work, then you're the same as you were before. If it does work, you've unlocked a whole new range of possibilities and a whole new range of safety as well.
Have you ever experienced anyone saying comments about your allergies?
I think I have, but for the most part, they're people I'm already close to, and people that I know say just a little bit of a jest for like good fun. It might be very triggering to some people though, and I can completely understand why, because it is a life or death thing. The kind of comment is like, "Oh, don't touch that, you'll die," and for me, it's like, "Oh, okay." For me personally, it's not something that I've ever paid heed to, and no one's ever done it maliciously to a point where I've actually gotten upset as a result. But I do understand that for a lot of people, that is not a thing that you'd want to have thrown at you very often. And in that case, I think it is okay just to mention that it's making you uncomfortable, because I think if they are close friends or good friends, they'll understand.
Do you carry any medication with you day to day?
Yeah, I carry 2 EpiPens, Claritine, and a puffer wherever I go. Or puffer or 2, yeah, wherever I go. A Ventolin puffer.
How do you carry it with you?
Yeah, that actually is a good point. I've had many different bags throughout the years. I used to have like a little like bum bag thing. There was a special one, I think, not a special one, but there was this like thing called a spy bag, which can fit basically just one EpiPen. And right now I just carry like a regular bag. It is lightly annoying because I reckon for a normal person, they can just walk around without anything, while I usually end up bringing a backpack, which is sometimes cumbersome, but at least I can fit other things in there, you know? So to be honest, I just kind of got used to it after a while, because it is always not worth not bringing it.
Definitely agree with you. There's people that do carry it, and having that bag is a good thing.
It is. Though being, for those who are, how do I put it, cognizant of like the fashion and stuff that they're wearing, perhaps like there are probably many good options better than just like a regular old backpack or bag.
If someone is listening into your story, is there anything that you would like to say to someone that is a teen or an adult living with allergies?
For me personally, I think the one thing that has helped me the most in terms of allergies is just not putting too much focus on it in your day-to-day, because I think that's how you get immensely paranoid. That's how you get immensely stressed about it. Is a life or death condition, but it's one where if you develop the requisite routines, the proper etiquette, and just the correct behavior, and you're just always bringing stuff with you, just always prepared, and for the most part, try to live your life as normally as possible, because that helps you just adjust to it, and it, to be honest, makes you feel a lot more relaxed when something bad does indeed happen.
If you're always prepared.
Yeah, if you're always bringing your stuff around, just try not to be forgetful, I guess.
Is there anything else that you would like to share, Anthony?
No, I think that's been a wonderful interview.
Thank you so much for talking through your story and also talking about your desensitization. I think it's really important. Thank you very much for joining.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful speaking.
The discussions on Talking Allergies are here to support you or your loved one on your journey with allergies. The topics discussed here are not intended as medical instruction or as a substitute for advice by a qualified healthcare provider.